Okay, so the session itself will be short. The assignment looks short, but on the other hand, this is more like, I would say today I'm asking you to prepare for the meeting. Since we have small number of students, it would be hard to make a group meeting, especially if the people are working on different projects. So this will be your home exercise. We will fix a return date at some point today. But anyways, the effective group meetings are basically made for three factors. Effective meaning short enough, but not shorter than that. So agenda, so you have to have to set an agenda. If you get a invitation to a meeting which does not have agenda, don't go. It's just, talking and talking and talking and nothing happens. Unless it's, after hours and it's called nominication. Then you go there. It doesn't have agenda, but great things happen. Yeah, so agenda which is integrated with the project plan and schedule, meaning that you have the schedule somewhere and you may have fixed some dates here already. That's the easiest. So basically, for example, if you have on December meeting somewhere in here, kind of checkpoint meeting where you have done the designs, hardware, software, and integration, and then even the box, start to work on the prototype, you have a checkpoint. Those actually should be included also, those checkpoints on the on your timetable. But you can add those. Remember, add that the timetable is a living document. Especially you should have a meeting somewhere in here before the March 4, which is the ultimate deadline, to make sure that everything is okay, that you match the deadline. Okay, so basically that's one task which is not here. Mark this kind of checkpoints on your timetable. That helps you a lot. And then basically you should take a look what things are done or should have been done by this far on the agenda, for the agenda. Check, okay. Basically from here it's quite easy to check, are this done, prototyping that phase, and then basically what you have done this far for the project documentation. Oh yes, I have these meetings here. I didn't just notice it. Okay, so basically the meetings on the project are, there's only one purpose, is to make sure that you are on time and on budget. Okay, good. So the agenda basically would consist of design part. In my case, I would have the first design, update on the design, update on the prototyping, update on the documentation, and then on the meeting you would basically have one slide showing we should be here, and the question is, are we there? Okay, that's one point. So, okay, we start having something material, meaning the updated, okay, let's see, maybe I should, no, that one. Meeting. You have the agenda. And then basically, first one, are we on schedule? On time. This is the most important. And are we on budget? Okay. And basically, material for the meeting updated uh, updated time chart. Okay, updated, and actually it happens that sometimes we are not on time. Well, we are either ahead of time or the late on the times. Basically, that's what usually happens. But then basically, based on that one, you would do the planning. All right, agenda. The next phase. Meaning, okay, you have updated time chart. After on the meeting, you will agree on new timing. So basically, you could there move some boxes that way and some boxes that way. So basically, if you move, what I can move here? I can't move anything. Oh no. Except basically, I can move, for example, this one already, so that it'll be done earlier. Maybe even earlier than that. Moving stuff earlier is actually smart because then you don't have the overhead time on the project. So, and then you would have some time on bank in case you need it right here at the end, because you have very, very strict deadline here. So that is for the updated time chart. Yes, good. What else? Well, that's actually the most important part. The other one, of course, is the budget. Do we need to do some modifications on the budget? Anything unexpected happen and you needed to buy something which was not budgeted, then you would be in big trouble here after March 4 when you show the balance sheet to your boss and say, oops, we went 10% over budget. That would be a catastrophe, meaning this one would go like jump here and stay there. You have to cover somehow that part. Extra money. Where does that come from? Well, it's easy if you are or the company owners, meaning startup person. It comes from your own pocket. Think it that way. That's a good way of thinking. Or yeah. So basically, if you need to do adjustments on the budget on early stage, for example, in this meeting, you see that you have spent some extra on the for example, on the hardware, you paid some extra. Then basically you need to somewhere in here balance it. Where do you get that money out? Do you get it from the equipment, total equipment cost? Yep, sure. If it was basically you can do it, that's fine. If nothing else, then you must take it from the salary, meaning less work, which is a little bit funny thing, since if you are working on a company, it means that you need to sell that work to some other project. It's not that easy just to say, okay, I'm not using your time for that, since the salary is a constant cost on the project. Salary is actually flowing, although if you are not using it. So you cannot balance the project by releasing allocated the resources unless you have somebody who takes that allocated resource. Yes, you can do that kind of deals. Okay, and if you cannot balance the budget, then you need to get this one covered from somewhere. First you go to your boss, say, does company have any money? Maybe. Where do you need it? Well, unexpectedly, we had to buy this thing. But it makes this project much better that way. Okay, good. So, yeah, agenda, are we on time? Are we on budget? What to do if we are not on time or not in budget, and basically that's the rest of the agenda should have the planning the next phase, and of course the if needed, then so basically what is that called? Okay. Scheduling the next meeting. That's the last point. When you look at the calendars and check what is the common time that you can meet again. Basically, you would start planning for the next meeting there. Okay, that's how it goes. I know in theory, this is straightforward and flows like a river. In reality, okay, it flows like a flooding river. But anyway, so how to make it effective? You need to have agenda, some supporting material for the agenda, especially the updated time chart. Be also prepared with the budget calculations. So budget calculations with you, since that's also on the agenda. Then planning for the next phase, meaning if you need to reallocate somehow the resources, that's done there. And then the last one is scheduling the next meeting. That's effective. And in, say, small projects, it takes 15 minutes. If there are, say, more than 10 people on the project, then it takes about 1 hour when you do it effectively. Good. Then, basically, that's a preparation. And then timing. It would be nice, at least if you yourself as the who is inviting the people for the meeting would have an exact time when it starts, 10 sharp, and when the clock is 10 o'clock, 10:00, you will start the meeting. 5 minutes late, meaning that the whole day will be ruined for everyone. And then make sure that you do not when they are starting, people are discussing things too much, meaning that meaningless discussion which doesn't go anywhere, which has no target, just saying about, oh, I was in Africa on safari, then you stop. Not related, please leave it to communication or some other event. But this is only for the project. We are talking about the project. And try to do it politely. I cannot. Yeah, people don't like my meetings. Okay, but anyways, you have the starting time and then you have an end time, ends at 10:30. Your task on the meeting is, the most important task is basically to make sure that you are not using too much time. There are some tricks you can use it for. If there are more than, say, 3 people on a meeting, then you are not the one who is making the notes. Ask your colleague to make notes. Just quick notes, what was discussed, what was decided. Okay. So that actually helps you, so you can just take the watch in front of you and see how much time is spent somewhere. So you will be only looking at that the meeting goes as planned. That's your own, the most important the task for that. On shorter or these smaller meetings with, say, 3 people or less, then basically you should do in the notes at the same. One way of doing the notes is you have the agenda open on computer and you make notes on the agenda and make it as the memorandum of the meeting at the same time. But only if that is a small meeting. Otherwise, if there are more than 10 people, there is my kind of people who sees every single misspelled word and start saying, hey, you misspelled a word there. And again, time goes. Time goes to a wrong place. Okay. Yeah. So basically, agenda with timing, and you start the meeting at the time. If somebody is late, in some companies they are kind of have jokingly have some sort of rules what happens if you come late to the meetings. One company actually had that, okay, the person who comes last will buy next time the coffee for everyone. But that was a few years back in Finland, happened that somebody then wasn't happy about it, and it actually went to actually to court to solve it. But anyways, it's somebody stated that it's illegal. You cannot do that. Yes, you can. In my opinion, it's coffee, and it's basically kind of penalty of being late. So Finns drink coffee in meetings anyways. All right, but maybe it's something you shouldn't be penalized. Somehow you need to have a small penalty, so people remember it next time to come on time. I used to have a really nasty way, or when I was a younger teacher, I was teaching, I was teaching compulsory electronics course for information and communication technology students. It was a big group of 80 students in one classroom. So 5 past the starting time, I closed the door and locked it. So nobody came later than 5 minutes after I started. But that was basically because, 80 students, and if one comes late on the front of the classroom, of course, everyone gets disturbed, and yeah, So that might be one idea, to lock the door and not let the late covers in. Or what else? Yes, I think the coffee trick is the best one. So you just have to have common agreement that, well, if you come late, you basically should next time bring something, candy, beer. No, not beer. Something like that. Okay, but yeah, that's it. So agenda, preparation, timing of the meeting. After the meeting, basically it's your uh, duty to make the meeting memo. Even if somebody else made the notes, you'd ask the notes and then make the memo. But basically, for smaller meetings, you can do the memo from the agenda just by typing it. One good idea is actually to type it so that nobody else is seeing it. Otherwise, there will be people pointing out the typos. Okay. Great. I don't understand what is that. Just a moment. I'll take that one. That's not needed. There. So for your exercise today, plan a meeting, a project meeting. It would be nice if there was more than 2 persons on the meeting, so maybe third one. But if you are working alone, okay, you actually should have some sort of meetings on the project, since, okay, you have the supervisor is one person, one key person. And so, of course, you will be updating the supervisor, say, quite often. Make that a kind of the more formal meeting and see how it goes. Make an agenda, short agenda. For example, I'm going to show you this, and then we discuss about the timeline, and then discuss about the budget, that kind of stuff, and then negotiate what happens next and fix the next meeting. And if you have a meeting with customer or the whatever stakeholder you have for your project, I think you are doing the project for the outside of the caution, right? There's a customer outside, end user. Do you have meetings with the end users, customers? Uh-oh. Interesting. Yep. I know this is a different culture. This is a different culture. Yeah. On real work, you will have actually the meetings. You will be involved on the meetings with your customer. Get used to the idea. But otherwise, make a meeting with your supervisor. If you have a student group working on the same topic, it's easiest actually then make your own group meeting to see where you are in this project. Okay. Any questions? Deadline. Deadline. So when do you have the next meetings? Within 1 week or 2 weeks, or? I would guess that everyone would have at least one meeting until the end of the year. Yes. This year, not next. Yeah, project meeting. If not, you have to make one. Does it sound fair? Sound good? Fine, fine. Okay, good. So the deadline for this one is the end of the year. Not Chinese year. Okay, great. So start working, start thinking about the topic for your what kind of meeting you have, then thinking about the agenda, what time of the day would be. You can leave the date still open since you don't know what day it might be, but you can start already putting the topics, those that kind of questions there. On time, on budget, and this budget actually also means the time resources, not just the this equipment and that kind of stuff, but also time-wise, are we on time? Or well, in time is already but I mean the how much the working time you need to spend for this project. Have you spent enough, or are you spending more? And yeah, that in reality it will actually do the spending more time on the project would mean deficit on the budget. Okay, good. Start working. I will be here until